36-degree day here in Pittsburgh. Snow is in the forecast, perhaps an inch or two before we're done here today. The terrible towels are out, and they'll be playing on a newly sodded field. Brand new turf for this most important matchup. The Pittsburgh Steelers won the toss, and they've deferred, so they'll put their defense on the field first, and Baltimore will have first possession. Dan?
This is the third new sod that's been put down here since the season started. They had the Winter's Classic here on New Year's Day. They put it down right after that, so it hasn't even barely been down 2 weeks. We'll see how it holds up.
Ladarius Webb is deep for the Baltimore Ravens. This AFC Divisional matchup is underway. Webb 3 yards deep in his own end zone. Running room to the 30 and dragged down at about the 35-yard line. He's still on his feet, and I was not ruled down. He's out to midfield.
Well, right off the bat, Ladarius Webb playing smart football. He didn't hear a whistle, which meant that nothing touched the ground other than a hand and a foot. Let's see if that's the case. You know, if you roll over the top of the person who's attempting to tackle you, and it looked like his forearm actually came down on the ankle, but let's see if anything touches the field here. He's got to be down.
And we get a challenge flag right off the bat.
His elbow hits the turf.
Our referee today is Jeff Triplett.
Yeah, Webb's elbow hit the turf. At that moment, he's down.
So he'll confer with Mike Tomlin, who either saw or has been told from up above.
And wisely so.
Here's Triplett.
Pittsburgh is challenging the ruling on the field that the runner was not down by contact when he initially went to the ground.
And again, smart play by Webb to keep going. The whistle didn't blow, but I think we're going to get a good look at his elbow. Suiza makes the tackle right there. Watch the left elbow. Yeah, right there, it made contact with the ground. If your hand hits the ground or your feet, you can keep going. But I think that's a definitive look of his elbow right there. We froze it for you. Certainly it's in the grass.
And if that is held up, then that nullifies a 52-yard return by Webb.
Well, even being down where he was, it's still a good opening start for the special teams units of the Ravens.
There's Mike Tomlin, the fourth-year head coach of these Pittsburgh Steelers. Here's another look at the play, and it's the right elbow that we're talking about here, Dan.
Now here it comes, and right there, it is on the ground as we zoom in on it. A good open field tackle by Sean Suiza, the kicker. He did a good job of getting Ladarius Webb down on the ground. He didn't get a lot of him down, but he got an elbow down.
So after a rip-roaring start, this playoff game has come to a screeching halt right off the bat. Just 11 seconds in.
I'm assuming right now that Jeff Triplett is just ascertaining exactly where to spot the ball.
And here comes Jeff. He's made his decision.
After review, the runner's elbow is down with the ball in control. He is down by contact at the 35-yard line. Pittsburgh is not charged a timeout. Please put 14:55 back on the game clock. 14:55 back on the game clock.
Terrific job by Mike Tomlin, and it moves the football all the way back to the 35-yard line. And in his third year, Baltimore quarterback Joe Flacco will go to work. He comes off a terrific regular season and a terrific performance in the Ravens' playoff win at Kansas City 1 week ago.
Well, that successful challenge by Pittsburgh netted them 14 yards. That's how much they backed up the Ravens.
Flacco to throw on first down. Short one over the middle, complete to Rice, and Rice out to close to the 40-yard line. The Ravens are solid on the offensive line. Second-year tackle Michael Orr will have to be up against James Harrison today. And Flacco has veteran receivers, including tight end Todd Heap, who comes off a 10-catch, 108 receiving yard day against the Chiefs. On 2nd and 5, Rice stumbled as he got started and has no gain on the play. Pittsburgh's front three on defense: Ziggy Hood, Casey Hampton, 9-year veteran Brett Kiesel out of BYU. The best set of linebackers in the league: Lamar Woodley with his 9.5 sacks on one side, James Harrison with his 10.5 coming from the other, and the extraordinary game changer Troy Polamalu at safety. He missed weeks 15 and 16 of the regular season with an Achilles injury. 3rd and 5. Flacco throws it back this way to Heap, the tight end. He has a first down and then some into Pittsburgh territory and down at about the 42-yard line.
Well, as a play caller, you dream about calling a screen to the side where they're bringing the blitz, and that's exactly what happens. Joe Flacco goes back to Todd Heap on the tight end screen, but there was the blitz from that side, and it really opened it up. William Gay came on the blitz, and Todd Heap is there all by himself. Good blocking out in front.
Todd Heap picking up where he left off a week ago against the Chiefs. Flacco with time throws the short one to Rice. Rice spins off of the first tackler and inside the 40 to the 39-yard line, and we'll be keeping an eye on Ray Rice all day long, as we talked about at the top of the show. He has had a flu bug problem, and they weren't quite sure whether or not he would go today.
Well, he was pretty ill yesterday when they arrived here in Pittsburgh. He was throwing up, and of course you worry about getting dehydrated. Woke up this morning feeling a lot better, and as you can see, he's on the field.
2nd and 7, short drop, quick passing, complete at 35. Pass intended for Heap. James Ferrier was covering.
Well, as we can see, Todd Heap is right in the mix here right off the back, and John Harbaugh quick to tell you that when he went down on the first play in the last Steeler game, a huge chunk of their offense went with him. They have an abundance of confidence now, having Todd Heap back in the lineup against Pittsburgh.
3rd and 7. Over the middle. Incomplete at the 30-yard line. Intended for Heap, covered by Ryan Clark. Heap wants a flag. No flag thrown.
Well, you sense a trend here early of Joe Flacco and Todd Heap trying to do some business. And Ryan Clark got there. He got there quickly. He was on Heap at the ball. You can see Anquan Bolden going across on a crossing pattern and imploring Flacco to see him, but he was zeroed in on Todd Heap.
Punter Sam Cook put 39 punts inside the 20-yard line, 3 short of the NFL record this year. And that one bounces into the end zone. He bounced it on the 2. It went on into the end zone. 12:22 to play in the first quarter. Ben Roethlisberger to take his first snap after this. Troy Polamalu and the Pittsburgh defense take a breather on the sideline, and Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger looking for his 4th appearance in the AFC Championship game in his 7th season. 17 TD passes, 5 interceptions in his 12-game season. On first down, it's Mendenhall. And Mendenhall to about the 22-yard line. The Steelers up front, so much pressure on left tackle Jonathan Scott today. And we have a little pushing and shoving out in the middle of the field. Hines Ward and Ed Reed were a couple of combatants. And if we know Hines Ward, he comes out of it smiling.
Well, talk about a couple of big-name players in Ward and Reed. All right, there's Ed Reed, number 20, on the left-hand side of your screen. You know, he's obviously right up there playing the run. And Hines Ward, one of the finest.
After the play is over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 86 for the offense. It's a half-distance field goal. second down.
Oh boy, only Hines Ward is penalized in that scenario. You could see that Ed Reed had a hold of Ward's face mask. I'm surprised there weren't offsetting personal fouls in that scenario. That looked like a heck of a block by Hines Ward, who stayed with Ed Reed and planted him. Normally you don't see just one guy coming out of it drawing the flag like that.
It backs the Steelers up to their own 11-yard line. 5 wide receivers now for Roethlisberger. Quick pass, near side. Antonio Brown out of bounds across the 15 out to about the 17-yard line. Talking about Jonathan Scott earlier, his primary responsibility will be keeping Terrell Suggs off of his quarterback. And the backs and the receivers, and Mike Wallace will be the fastest man on the field today. He is the Steelers' big play man on offense.
Well, Suggs will move around. Flozell Adams, number 71, on the other side, is going to see his share of Suggs as well. In fact, he's going to get a look at him right here.
3rd and 12. Roethlisberger, this side of the field, got his man out of bounds across the 35. Mike Wallace has first down yardage for Pittsburgh.
Well, Chris Carr is the corner working against Wallace. Take a look at it here from behind. You're going to see exactly what Ben is seeing. But Mike Wallace has such extraordinary speed. He demands two things: a safety over at the top, and a lot of times he gets a big cushion from the corner that's underneath. Mike Wallace, one of the 3 or 4 fastest guys in the National Football League.
You see his number of receptions of 20-plus yards. He has 8 40-plus yard touchdowns in 2 seasons. Roethlisberger going to go deep. Little hand fighting results in the flag being thrown. Wallace covered by Josh Wilson.
Well, the Ravens came with a blitz. Roethlisberger spotted single coverage and put it up and let his receiver fight it out. The Ravens arguing that offensive interference.
I think you can see read John Harbaugh's lips saying that's on them.
Pass interference, defense number 37. Automatic first down.
Well, this was an all-out blitz by the Ravens, and that means single coverage. Ben spots it in a hurry, and you see there's the grab. Yes, there is. Wallace has his arm back, but Wilson is grabbing it and hooking it right there, and that's what the official sees. Wallace initiated some contact, no question about it, but Wilson got in the really visible arm pull.
It's a 37-yard penalty. This is Mendenhall trying to turn the corner inside the 25 to about the 23 or the 22. The Ravens 3-4 defense, led up front by Pro Bowl defensive end Haloti Ngata, 6'4", 350 pounds. The linebackers include the great Ray Lewis inside, fellow Pro Bowl linebacker Terrell Suggs, who has 10.5 career sacks against the Steelers. And the secondary has Ed Reed, who only played in 10 regular season games, still led the league in interceptions with 8.
Yeah, this has to be frustrating for Ray Lewis and the Ravens. They've come with some all-out blitzes and haven't gotten to Roethlisberger. If anything, they've been burned on the tail end of it.
On 2nd and 7, Roethlisberger with time. Lots of time, and on the move, now pulls it down, and is down at about the 16-yard line, maybe a half yard shy of a first down.
Well, and Ben gets reacquainted with his old buddy Terrell Suggs, and Ben deciding not to go for a hook slide, decides he'll use his 6'5", 245 to try to burrow for a first down. Great blocking by the guys up front, but here comes Suggs, and he gets a little bit of a hit, but then all the way across, Redding is the guy that puts the big hit right on the shoulder of Roethlisberger, but undaunted, still reaches out with the ball.
On 3rd and 1, Isaac Redman in the backfield. He'll get the handoff, he'll get the first down. Bulls his way to the 12.
Ray Lewis had a shot and missed it. Boy, you know, don't see that very often. That could have been a negative play for Pittsburgh. Watch Ray Lewis. He's going to come right through the A gap right there, and he's right there, but Redmond is able to get outside of Lewis and pick up the first down. At first blush, that looked like that might have been a negative play for Pittsburgh.
From the 12. Mendenhall with a hole up the middle. Inside the 5 to the 4.
All right, Chris Kimoyatu came in awfully late to clean somebody off the pile, and he's lucky he didn't get a call. I think he hit Ed Reed, and that is very fortunate for Pittsburgh. Again, outstanding blocking. Look at that alley there for Mendenhall. But watch at the conclusion of this play. Right there comes Kimoyatu, and he knocks Ed Reed off the pile. And that, 9 times out of 10, that draws a flag.
Pickup of 8, 2nd and 2. 3 tight ends now. 8th play of this drive. Mendenhall for a first down.
Man, good power football there by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nothing fancy there. Hat on hat, Bruce Arians. Doug Legursky in at fullback, getting that extra lineman in there, but that's just power football at its very best.
So 1st and goal for the Steelers from the 2.
Elodie Nada, the only guy I've ever met who weighs 350 pounds, and when you're sitting with him, you're going, this guy doesn't need to lose any weight.
Doug Legursky in the backfield to block. Mendenhall straight ahead, short of the end zone.
Oh, what a hit by Ed Reed. Oh, that's got touchdown written all over it. That has really, I'll guarantee you that Mendenhall can't believe he doesn't get into the end zone here. Look at that stick. McLean doing a good job down low, but then up high, Reed just brings Mendenhall to a dead stop.
2nd and goal from the 1. Once again, Legursky in the backfield. Once again, Mendenhall with the handoff. Bounces off a tackler. Touchdown.
One of the instances where when you bounce it out, it works out for you, because you see right here Mendenhall is stuffed, and he bounces it out one more gap and found a soft spot and was able to find his way into the end zone.
A pass interference call that was good for 37 yards. The extra point is good. Pittsburgh draws first blood in this AFC Divisional playoff matchup. We'll be back to Heinz Field in a moment. It's 7-0 Steelers. Heinz Field, the star of the show tonight. Pittsburgh goes 10 plays, 80 yards in just over 6 minutes.
As you can see, that doesn't happen to Baltimore very often.
Scooting the ball along the ground, picked up at about the 23-yard line and returned across the 30 by LaRon McLean, the fullback. So that's where the Baltimore Ravens and Joe Flacco will go to work. They find themselves down early by a touchdown. In his first 3 seasons has put him in some pretty elite company. He gets to work from his own 32-yard line. Flacco throws this side of the field, and that's complete, and the penalty marker flies as Derek Mason makes the catch. Let's check the flag. First indication.
Ike Taylor.
Ike Taylor is down, and it looks like the call is going to be against the Ravens.
I think Ike Taylor is down because he got hit by his own teammate, Ryan Clark.
Pass interference, offense number 85, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Boy, you see this a lot where a defender gets hurt because he gets hit by one of his own guys coming in to put a hit on the receiver or the running back. And this is what happens to Ike Taylor. Here comes Clark, number 25, lowers his head and hits the shoulder of Ike Taylor. Another look at it here, this after the offensive interference on Mason, but boy, leading with his head, in comes Ryan Clark, and what he does is he destroys his own teammate.
We'll take a timeout as they check out Ike Taylor. 6:06 to play first quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by E-Trade.
Back in Pittsburgh, Ike Taylor standing on the sideline has been replaced for the moment by number 22 William Gay in the lineup.
And that is a very good sign for Pittsburgh.
1st and 20 after the penalty. Little screen for Rice. And Rice across the 25 to about the 27-yard line. Lawrence Timmons makes the stop. Hey, you can build your own football dynasty and compete year-round with CBSSports.com franchise football. Find out more at CBSSports.com/franchise.
And Greg, Ike Taylor back into the ball game, so that it didn't look like he was going to return anytime soon the way he was curled up on the ground. So great news for Pittsburgh.
Out of 7 offensive plays so far, Baltimore has run the ball just once. Flacco with time, throws, incomplete, another penalty marker in the secondary.
Well, they're coming right at Ike Taylor. This is the National Football League. You got a guy that's a little dinged. Let's find out how nicked he is, and we'll go at him.
Prior to the pass, holding defense number 24. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And he was working on Derek Mason.
That's
once
exactly what the Ravens did. Go right after Ike Taylor, and it worked out for him. Look on the left side, you see he grabbed the shoulder pad and then the helmet and the shoulder pad again of Derek Mason right out in the open.
So it's a first down for Baltimore at the 32. Rice, little hesitation, and then across the 35 to the 37, a pickup of about 5 yards.
Well, this might be a case of Baltimore using the pass to set up the run. It is kind of futile to just hammer away at Pittsburgh, and it has been predominantly a passing game for Baltimore so far. And that time, after all those throws, they found a little running room from Rice. That's a pretty solid first down pickup. Baltimore
Looking at the #1 rushing defense in the league in the Steeler D. 2nd and 5. Rice again. To the 39, maybe the 38.
Greg, I thought it was interesting when we talked to John Harbaugh, and he told us his foremost thought about this game. He said, if we can protect Joe Flacco, we will win, which means their game plan is predicated on Joe Flacco throwing the football. And of course, when you got Woodley and Harrison and Timmons and company coming after him, he boiled it all down to simply that. If Joe is upright and gets a good look at things, they're confident they're going to come out of here with a win.
He deemed those intermediate passes the most important thing for his offense today. Willis McGahee in the backfield on 3rd and 3. Flacco over the middle, got his man across the 45 to the 48-yard line. TJ Houshmandzadeh has a first down for Baltimore.
Houshmandzadeh deciding to walk all the way down the field and plead his case to the back judge. Joe Flacco locked in. He was looking at Houshmandzadeh all the way. He saw that he had single coverage working against Madison. And he's on the ground, and the play is over at that point. I'm not sure what Houshmandzadeh was all worked up about.
McGahee still in the backfield on first down. Play fake to him. Little pump fake. Sideline pass is incomplete. Intended for Anquan Bolden on the far side and guarded by William Gay. Let's go back to that play again.
Well, let's see if we can find out why Oh, that's what he's upset about. Ike Taylor leans in and headbutts him. Well, and I don't blame TJ for being a little upset about that. Boy, this has been chippy. That was pretty uncalled for by Ike Taylor.
On 2nd and 10, Flacco sets up the screen to the near side. This is McGahee. McGahee cuts it back inside the 45 and is very close to a first down. He may have one at the Pittsburgh 42.
Tackled by Harrison.
Now, that was timing is so important in a screen, and it's a good look here of being patient, and then Grubbs gets out front. And there's Ben Grubbs, number 66, and then it was up to McGahee to make a couple Steelers miss. You got one good block, he took advantage of that, and then he made two guys miss on his talent. Willis McGahee, a more powerful guy than Ray Rice. I think he's going to have a bigger role in their game plan today because of that power.
10-yard pickup, first down, Baltimore at the Steeler 42. Flacco goes down at the 48, courtesy of Lamar Woodley.
Well, Lamar Woodley is on the edge, and he's really going to get a pretty, not much of a block at all. I think Tony Mall was over there. Take a look, there's Woodley standing right up there. Mall, oh, he's way late coming off the football. He didn't hear the snap count. Tony Mall, number 79, barely grazes Lamar Woodley. Give an assist to the crowd here at Heinz Field. Boy, that is a real easy path to the quarterback.
Over the middle, incomplete, intended for Bolden.
Bundle pass intended for Bolden.
Well, here's where Dick LeBeau has been working for a couple of weeks, waiting for this really first, third, and really long. And let's see what the master was able to work out from a blitz/coverage standpoint. That's LeBeau right there.
Flacco going to go deep. Incomplete at the 10-yard line. Intended for Derek Mason, and a late flag is thrown.
Pass interference, defense, number 37. First down.
That's Anthony Madison, the guilty DB for the Steelers.
Boy, oh boy, on a 3rd and 15. Madison, number 37, right there in the middle. He's right there on Mason. Nothing yet. And then you can see he makes contact when the ball is still about 2 or 3 yards away from Derek Mason. He lost his balance. He was stumbling and kind of fell right into Mason.
33-yard penalty. First down, Baltimore. Flacco to throw, near side. Incomplete. Intended for Mason.
And textbook coverage by Ike Taylor.
That is 7 straight passing plays for the Baltimore offense.
Now that defines being in a receiver's hip pocket. Flacco puts it out there, letting his guy try to make a play, but Ike Taylor just exactly parallel with Derek Mason. Mason had no shot at that.
Flags have been thrown, and we're early here. Straight ahead, Rice to the 5. Touchdown!
And not just any touchdown, but a rushing touchdown. And not easily done against this Pittsburgh defense, finding a hole like that. A little delayed draw, and take a look at the blocking up front, and then it's just a couple of missed tackles. Surprisingly, the last one by Troy Polamalu.
After 6 straight passing plays, Rice up the middle for 14 yards for the tie. Billy Cundiff, Pro Bowl kicker, is good. A minute 20 to play here in the first quarter. And much like the opening drive for the Steelers, penalty assisted. The Ravens pull even at 7-7. The Ravens with a 10-play drive of their own. Almost 5 minutes long. And just as John Harbaugh wanted, the passes loosen up the defense enough to allow a meaningful rushing touchdown. And both the Ravens and the Steelers were stingy in the rushing touchdown department. Each allowed just 5 on the season, and that was tops in the NFL. Antonio Brown is deep. And this is Brown from the 5. Across the 20, dodging his way out, and here comes a penalty marker. We may be here until Tuesday.
There has been a lot of yellow, and not just what's being worn by the Steelers so far in this game.
During the return, holding number 57 of the return team. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
That penalty is on Ke'Aaron Fox. Let's go back to the touchdown.
Yeah, let's take a lot of great blocking up front, but watch LaRon McClain, the fullback, come in here and watch the block he gets on James Ferrier. You're going to get a good block right at the line of scrimmage, but there's McClain, pins Ferrier to the inside. That's what allows Rice all that room. And LaRon McClain, an outstanding fullback. Remember, he didn't play in the last game against Pittsburgh either. So he went out on the first play in that December the 5th game. McClain didn't play at all because of an ankle. Baltimore very buoyed having both of those guys back for this game.
Steelers start at their own 10. Roethlisberger throws incomplete. Pass out to the near side intended for tight end Keith Miller. And it'll be 2nd and 10 with 1:07 to play in the quarter.
Is Ben all right? Ben looks like something happened to his leg. Suggs was in there. Ben is limping. Let's watch. There's Suggs 55. Does he come up the middle? Yes, he does. And oh, he hits Ben below the waist. Watch 55. He comes through there, losing his balance. He got inside Flozell Adams.
Roethlisberger looking at 2nd and 10. Pump fake. Now throws over the middle, no, incomplete. And Terrell Suggs making his presence felt again.
Did Jeff Triplett rule that? I don't think he did. I think that's a live football. That's a Baltimore touchdown.
That's Corey Redding doing the celebrating.
Jeff Triplett, instead of blowing the whistle, was running in there looking at the football on the ground.
Well, Roethlisberger is not putting up an argument.
Oh, well, there's a red flag in Mike Tomlin's hand. Ben holds on to this football for a long time. 1 pump, 2 pumps, and before he launches it, he's hit by Suggs, and that is a fumble. And you can see right there, Foster just standing there, everybody looking around, and finally one guy decides to act on it, Corey Redding.
And Mike Tomlin has tossed the challenge flag.
Well, Jeff Triplett, the referee, that's his call.
Pittsburgh is challenging the ruling on the field of a fumble.
Well, that's Jeff Triplett's way of telling you right there that he never blew the whistle. He called it a fumble. That was a live football, and out of 22 people, Corey Redding seemed to be the only guy that realized it.
As you take another look at it, Jeff Triplett will do the same. We'll take a break and come right back with Triplett's decision in just a moment. While Jeff Triplett is examining the replay, Corey Redding celebrating on the bench.
Well, looking at it over and over, I do not think that Roethlisberger's hand was moving forward.
Nor is there a whistle here.
And for some reason, without a whistle blowing, only Corey Redding decides to make a play on the football. Now watch Ben's hand. Okay, he's going to reload right here. Here comes Suggs. I believe that's a fumble.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It is a fumble. Quarterback's arm is going back. when it was hit and the ball knocked loose. It is a touchdown as a result of the play. Pittsburgh has charged their first timeout, and they're out of challenges for the remainder of the game.
And in his 8th season out of Texas, that is Corey Redding's first career touchdown.
Well, again, Terrell Suggs, the tormentor of the Steelers, makes the play again on Ben Roethlisberger, forcing the fumble, and just, I am mystified without a whistle blowing that many guys in a playoff scenario were standing around spectating.
Billy Cundiff is good on the extra point. The Ravens score 14 points in 27 seconds.
Well, Ben with all sorts of time. 1 reload, 2 reloads, and finally the clock needed to go off as to how long he thought he could stand in that pocket without getting hit. And again, the ball just lying there on the ground, and that's a dream come true for Corey Redding. Hook 'em horns.
A little disbelief on the face of Hines Ward on the Pittsburgh side of the field. And Corey Redding, once he heard Jeff Triplett say the ruling on the field stands, that's good news for the young man from Texas.
And the guy they call Sizzle, he supplied a little right there for the Ravens D. And man, after that 80-yard drive rather by the Steelers where they went up 7-0, we're not even at the end of the first quarter, and that seems like a long time ago.
We still have 53 seconds to play here in the first quarter.
Well, the old adage, you play to the whistle. Never more in play than right there.
And Dan, you know Corey Redding will now be handing out advice to the offensive guys on the bench. Antonio Brown from the 2 to the 25 and forward to about the 28 or 29 yard line. While we have a moment, fantasy football continues throughout the playoffs. Play NFL.com Playoff Challenge today for a chance to win a trip to Super Bowl 46. Sign up for free at NFL.com/fantasy or search NFL Playoff Challenge.
I remember the play before that fumble. Ben was a little ginger. Remember, he's got that broken bone in his right foot. He wears a brace, plates, bigger shoes. And he was hobbling a little bit, although not so bad coming out here for this possession.
This is Mendenhall. And Mendenhall to about the 32 as we come up on 35 seconds to play. And perhaps the biggest thing to come out of that entire situation is that Pittsburgh is out of challenges.
Yes, they are. It costs them the timeout, but when you challenge and you are incorrect, that's it. So this is, remember they used one on the opening kickoff, and that we'll see if that becomes a problem for the Steelers later as this game moves along.
As this first quarter winds down, the teams will change ends of the field. Pittsburgh scored first. Baltimore has scored twice since. And the Ravens lead it 14-7 after 1. We're coming back to
Divisional
Pittsburgh right after this. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
Definition of Smash Mouth. Who is your rival?
Seems like forever, but we have now reached the second quarter. Welcome back to Pittsburgh, everyone. First down, or 2nd and 7 rather, for Roethlisberger and the Steelers at their own 32, and Roethlisberger escapes the first try, not the 2nd and 3rd.
Now, Ray Lewis was the guy that came flying in. 15 years, Ray Lewis has been doing it here. There he is coming in on the left, and even though Mendenhall puts him down, he bounces right back up. Mendenhall comes back, tries to get him again, and by that time, the rest of the Ravens, led by Nada, come in and finish it up. Great effort, though, by Ray Lewis.
Loss of 4 makes it 3rd and 11. man rush. Roethlisberger stepping up and overthrows his intended receiver, Mike Wallace.
Oh, he had Wallace too. Wallace doing a little curl. It looks to me like he's got some separation, and that ball just really gets away from Ben. I mean, that's wide open, and for some reason Ben, that ball just took off and not even in the vicinity. That's barely in the same zip code as Mike Wallace.
Jeremy Kapanos to kick it away, and Ladarius Webb is deep. Webb back to his own 16-yard line, and he is tackled back there by Anthony Madison, number 37. So with 14:06 to play in the first half, Baltimore on offense again. The MetLife blimp is providing spectacular shots like that from on high. Look for MetLife blimps teaming up with CBS for more sports coverage. Bryant McFadden, we're told he has suffered a hip injury. His return is questionable. And William Gay has replaced him on the field. First down, Ravens at the 18. Rice. No gain. Casey Hampton plugged it.
Well, take a look at that. Each team had a 30-yard plus defensive pass interference penalty. They both resulted in touchdowns. And Baltimore's got the one defensive touchdown, which, man, that does so much for the psyche of a team when your defense scores. And a very large note, the Steelers cannot challenge a play for the balance of this football game.
And two teams that aren't used to giving up rushing touchdowns have each given up one. Flacco with time, near side of the field, got his man to the 35-yard line. Houshmandzadeh once again, who has made it a habit of complaining about not being as big a part of the offense as he would like. And Dan, you made the point to Cam Cameron, the offensive coordinator of the Ravens, that TJ's been doing very well, and Cam said, tell TJ.
Yeah, he wants the football. Well, he wanted a perfect pass, and he got it from Joe Flacco. You can't throw the deep out any better than Joe Flacco. Dropped that one right onto the palms of TJ Houshmandzadeh. An absolutely perfect pass.
First down now at the Baltimore 34. Pass out to the far side of the field, and being brought to an immediate halt is Anquan Bolden by Ryan Clark.
Well, Anquan Bolden is a formidable receiver after he catches the football because of his power. And this is a perfect tackle by Ryan Clark. Bolden didn't get a chance to really do much of anything. He barely gets both feet down, and then all of a sudden, there's Clark. Low, wrapping up, driving through. That's the way you tackle somebody.
Loss of 1, second and 11. Rice. Ziggy Hood with the stop of Rice.
Well, Ziggy Hood, their #1 pick last year, has had big shoes to fill because Aaron Smith, who tore his triceps back in the Miami game, the 6th game of the season, when he's been out, and there is Aaron Smith, Dick LeBeau said, let me tell you something about Aaron Smith. One of the finest defensive players I've ever coached at any position. But Ziggy Hood has really come on as he's gotten his playing time because of the injury to Smith.
Third and long yardage for Flacco. Polamalu very deep in the secondary, the screen. And Rice gets nowhere. James Harrison makes the stop.
Well, it's always fun to track Troy Polamalu. There he is. He was up at the line of scrimmage. Now he's going all the way back to take the deep part of the field. And here he comes right back up again. And he covers some ground. And that is what's so frustrating for the offensive guys. It's like, where's Waldo? Where is he going to be, and where's he going to end up?
Antonio Brown back at his own 20-yard line for Pittsburgh. Oh, what Good kick by Sam Cook. Backs him up inside his own 5-yard line. Penalty markers are down as he moves out to the 14.
Looks like they'll get a block in the back.
That's a 61-yard punt by Sam Cook.
And I don't know that that ball should have been fielded. Should have let that baby go. Momentum might have carried it in the end zone.
During the return, illegal blocking it back. Return team number 23. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
Keenan Lewis, the guilty party for the Pittsburgh Steelers. As you take a look at the penalty, Sam Cook picked a heck of a time to come up with a career-long punt. Welcome back to Heinz Field. 10.5 minutes to play. Look at the penalties right there at the top of your screen. There have been a few. Mendenhall trying to cut it back. And gets it only to the 5-yard line where Dewan Landry makes the stop.
Well, this is where you'd love to demonstrate some prowess on the offensive line by being able to hammer out a couple of first downs. This is the spot on the field where this is a drive that doesn't necessarily have to end in points, but if you could just get a first down or two and substantially change field position, but going to need to do better than that 1-yard run.
On 2nd and 9, this is Mendenhall, and Mendenhall for about 2 to the 7.
Well, when you've been the bully, when you meet another bully, sparks fly. And that's what's happening. There's Hines Ward and Ed Reed. That resulted in a personal foul call against Ward. And there's a big hit by Redding on Ben. Ike Taylor gets a headbutt on T.J. Hushmanzada. That did not draw a flag, although it should have, and Hushmanzada expressing his displeasure. And take a look at that. It's been 20 years since we've seen penalty yardage like that being thrown around in a playoff game.
3rd and 7. Pump fake.
I think Baltimore was offsides.
Down the far side of the field, it is incomplete, not out of bounds to Emmanuel Sanders.
But I think Baltimore was in the neutral zone. Jarrett Johnson, the linebacker, it looked like he took a stutter step. It won't be a first down, but it'll...
Boy, Ben is celebrating like he's going the length of the field, though.
2 fouls on the play. Offside. 95 defense. That penalty's declined. Illegal contact. 21 to the defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And that's the cause for the celebration by Roethlisberger. Ladarius Webb, number 21, with a costly penalty on 3rd and long.
Yeah, both of them 5-yard penalties. It's just the one has an automatic first down attached to it. And that was a break the Steelers needed. There's the offsides. That's Johnson clear at the top. And there's Webb, the upper left of your screen. Oh, well, yeah, that's way beyond the 5-yard zone where he comes up and gets a jam.
So first down now at the 12. Roethlisberger popped up into the air, incomplete.
Ray Lewis saw that ball hanging in the air, and he was digging for it. Oh, he made a try for it. His legs just couldn't get him there. All right, who gets a hand on this? Yeah, you can see it right there, McKinney. And then Ray Lewis was really, really digging for that ball. There's McKinney, 91. Watch, I think his left hand gets up at the last second. Yeah, he gets it.
On 2nd and 10, Mendenhall out across the 15 to the 16-yard line.
Was that ball out?
Loose ball. and they give it to Baltimore.
I'm sure Mike Tomlin wants a good look at this. But remember,
not that he can do anything about it.
He's got no challenges.
Ed Reed came up with the football. Let's take another look.
Rashard Mendenhall coming in right behind. He's got it, and there it goes. No doubt that he loses that football way before he comes in contact with the ground. He's right on the hip of Kimo Atu, and it looks like Kimo Atu's right arm actually dislodges the football, but no question that that was a loose football, and wow, what a turn of events for the Steelers.
The Ravens are set up at the Pittsburgh 16. McGahee and McLean in the backfield. Flacco to throw. McGahee to about the 12. Mike Tomlin has to be a little bit dazed.
Well, yeah, because look at that. The Steelers were so good during the course of the season, taking care of the football, second best in the National Football League, behind only the Patriots. And now here they find themselves -2. Oh, you know, not even halfway through the second quarter.
2nd and 6. As you look at the red zone numbers this season. McGahee stood up at about the 18 is where forward progress will be marked.
Wow, and Ryan Clark, when you got a safety making a tackle for negative yardage, you got 8 guys in the box. And that's what the Steelers. Watch Clark get upfield. Knifes right in there again. Boy, he's put together a couple of good tackles so far in this football game.
3rd and 7. Flacco pulls it down twice on the move and throws complete inside the 10, inside the 5 is Ray Rice, and that'll be a 1st and goal.
Dick LeBeau and the Steelers had the defense called they wanted because they got Troy Polamalu locked up on Ray Rice. And this is a great job by Flacco of extending the play. Couple pumps coming out, but look right here. There's Rice, and Polamalu just goes flying by him. We've seen Troy Polamalu miss a couple tackles early on in this ball game, which you just rarely see.
1st and goal from the 5. McGahee for about a yard, maybe a yard and a half.
Let's go back to that prior play by Ray Rice, and again we're going to get a look at Troy Polamalu. Here he comes. He sees Rice. He's got him in his sights, and boy, you just don't see that very often where he misses that badly. Limited practice time because of the Achilles injury. Hasn't gotten in as much work as he would have liked. Says it feels fine, but that's uncharacteristic.
2nd and goal. Flacco on the move and throws it away. Lamar Woodley was giving chase. 3rd and goal.
Well, a guy that really turns it on in the playoffs is Lamar Woodley. There he is right there. Look at that shot that he gets on McGahee. But because the ball wasn't thrown, that's not interference. Nothing wrong with that. And then he comes off that and forces Joe to throw it away.
Woodley in the backfield.
Woodley averages a couple sacks a game in the playoffs.
Short drop, throws, touchdown! Todd Heap.
I'm not sure what describes this crowd at Heinz Field more, stunned or angry. again, a reminder, Todd Heap got hurt on the first play of the game in December. And you can see right there, the two Baltimore defenders run into each other. Ryan Clark hopelessly behind the play at that point in time. And a relatively easy touchdown.
You hear how important it is all the time about points off turnovers. The two-touchdown advantage is just that. Baltimore with 14 points off turnovers. Flacco to Todd Heap, 21-7 Ravens. Hey, only one network's on a roll. More Americans watch CBS than any other. The #1 drama, comedy, and new show. There's only one. #1, CBS, America's most watched network.
Well, I'll tell you, Cam Cameron, the offensive coordinator of the Ravens, he designed a beautiful touchdown passing play there to get Todd Heap open. We'll show it to you after the kick here, but well done. Jim Zorn right there talking to Joe Flacco.
Baltimore Ravens having a veritable explosion against these Steelers. Antonio Brown from the 3. Running room across the 20 to about the 25, and he's brought to a stop. 5:36 to play in the first half. Roethlisberger and the Steelers on offense next. Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf back at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, coming up on 5.5 minutes to play in a first half that has seen the Ravens take full advantage of some Steeler mistakes for a 21-7 lead. Pittsburgh's last 3 drives, a fumble turned into a touchdown, a punt and a fumble that led to a touchdown. Roethlisberger is hit and goes down at the 15-yard line. That man Suggs.
55, Terrell Suggs.
Wow, Terrell Suggs. What a monster game he's having here, rolled into a half. There he is at the very bottom, 55, going to loop in behind Elodie Nada. And again, the Steeler offensive line doesn't pick him up. That's called a TE. The tackle goes to the outside. The end loops to the inside. The Steelers don't have an answer for it.
Third sack of the day by Roethlisberger. 2nd and 19. Pass to the outside is complete to Heath Miller, the tight end, and he's knocked out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. That'll be enough for a first down. Oh, I'm sorry. That'll be short of a first down by about 6 yards.
Well, the tight ends for both of these quarterbacks are very familiar targets, and we can see the Steelers now going to a little bit of a hurry-up. A little urgency here, being down by 14 points and under 5 in the half. Well, they were hurrying up until Ben decided to change the play.
Running out of time.
He didn't get it off.
No, he didn't. Penalty marker is down.
That might be the first time in the history of this business where an analyst says they're in a hurry-up and then they don't get the snap off before the play clock expires.
You have 4:21 to do it again here
Last
in the
game.
half.
Offense, _7. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
I may have forged new ground here. Boy, that's a real whiff. Not good. 1 for 4 and 3 sacks. And Mike Tomlin, I'm sure right now, is going, wow, I'm sure glad we had that week off.
So from the 25-yard line, Roethlisberger and the Steelers need the 36 for a first down. Throwing, complete, first down to the 39. Emmanuel Sanders.
Huge conversion.
They needed 11, they got 14. Coming up on 3.5 to play in the first half. This is Noeldi Moore with running room on the left side, across the 40 out to about the 44-yard line.
Oh, now we've got another little mini scuffle. No flags. Everybody separates and heads their respective directions. Pouncey and Kruger, I think, were a couple guys in there.
Pick up a 5, 2nd and 5. Again, Roethlisberger not in any particular hurry. Moore once again. And Moore has a first down across midfield and into Baltimore territory where Donnell Ellerby makes the stop.
Well, good job of running the football here by Pittsburgh when they need it. Again, they're not going back into a classic huddle. They're just the old muddle huddle right up there by the line of scrimmage. Bruce Arians telling us in this situation, Ben calls his own plays entirely.
Roethlisberger pump fake and throws over the middle and hits his tight end Heath Miller, and Miller is down at about the 41-yard line, and that will bring us to the 2-minute warning. 1:57 to play in the first half at Heinz Field. Steelers trying to put points on the board before the intermission. There'll be a few things to discuss, won't there, at halftime?
Yeah, more than a couple. Halftime won't be long enough to fit in every storyline we've seen here in the first half.
2nd and 2 for Roethlisberger and the Steelers. Pump fake, throws inside the 30-yard line. That's complete to Emmanuel Sanders for a first down, and the clock continues to move. Baltimore has all 3 of its timeouts remaining. Pittsburgh has 2.
Well, Sanders and Antonio Brown make up a pair of pretty talented rookie receivers, and they're getting in the game and making a few things happen here in the first half.
First down at the 28. And we get a whistle and a timeout called by Baltimore.
Timeout.
Well, we're talking about whether the guys have anything to talk about in the studio, Dan.
Well, we've had some big plays here in the first half, a bunch of them, none bigger than this. Ben Roethlisberger hit by Terrell Suggs. Nobody knows it's a fumble except for Corey Redding, who belatedly picks it up and saunters into the end zone for a Baltimore touchdown. And then Rashard Mendenhall, he fumbles the football. It gives the Baltimore Ravens possession deep in their own territory, and Joe Flacco takes advantage of that by throwing a touchdown pass to Todd Heap. And the Steelers, who at one time enjoyed a 7-0 lead, have seen Baltimore score 21 unanswered.
Meanwhile, Terrell Suggs looked like they were looking at his arm on the sideline, and he has now walked back on the field.
The 28.
Timeout got him back out on the field.
Once again, Llewellyn Moore in the backfield for Pittsburgh. First down at the Baltimore 28.
This time Suggs inside.
Roethlisberger, incomplete inside the 20. Heath Miller, the intended receiver, DeJuan Landry covering.
Covered by Landry.
Boy, on this field, you see 26 making a play like that. You think it might be Rod Woodson, but it's DeJuan Landry. And again, he does a good job. That ball just a little too far out in front of Heath Miller. Miller had a step on Landry. If that ball would have been just a little less out in front of Miller, I think he'd have made that catch.
If you're thinking long field goals are no gimmies here at Heinz Field. Roethlisberger, short pass over the middle, falls incomplete. 1:13 on the clock.
Pass incomplete.
Well, that was obviously some confusion between Roethlisberger, and not sure if that was Emmanuel Sanders or not, but you could see Ben right off the bat doing a little coaching. Do this, not that.
You saw the flags relatively still. They haven't been that way all night.
We have really, there was supposed to be 20, 25-mile-an-hour winds and snow this afternoon and this evening, and we haven't seen either one yet.
Roethlisberger on 3rd and 10 has plenty of time and throws complete. And to the 25-yard line is Mike Wallace, and he is hit there by number 25, Chris Carr.
Again, we have seen some good open field tackles by both teams. We've seen some misses. Ryan Clark has made a couple good ones for the Steelers, but that was a beauty there by Carr.
And they will go for it here on 4th and 7.
That was Greg Madison, the defensive coordinator of the Ravens.
This would be about a 43-yard field goal from here. Doesn't look like Roethlisberger is going now. It looks like they're set up for a direct snap to Mwelde Moore. And now they're going to call a timeout. Nothing's going to happen.
Timeout. Pittsburgh. Their second.
Well, because, you know, initially you'd say to yourself, why are they not going to kick the field goal? So you wondered if that was some plan to try to draw them off sides or some exotic formation or who knows what.
So they'll talk about things on 4th and 7, and now they will send the field goal unit out. Sean Sweezum is 14 out of 15 with a long of 48 this season, and this would be a 43-yard attempt.
And I'm not sure that there's a stadium in the NFL where, Greg alluded to this, kicking a field goal is as much of an adventure as it is here.
Although this is the good end.
The good end.
For a kicker.
The better end. I'm not sure it's good. It's just better than the other.
Sweezum 8 out of 9 this year from 40-plus yards. This one from 43. Missed it.
Again, Heinz Field gets in the head of field goal kickers.
Heinz Field will even bite its own.
Baltimore ball. At the 33-yard line.
The snap a little high, but it looked to be a really good, solid placement. And as you'll see, sometimes it starts out between the uprights, but then it's got that hook to it.
And on the sideline, Ben Roethlisberger sees a chance to put points on the board, go to waste.
Well, in this rivalry, points are precious. And the Ravens pretty happy to go in up by 14.
Turnovers, the story of this first half. Pittsburgh made them, Baltimore converted. We come to the end of the first half at Heinz Field with the score. The Ravens 21, Pittsburgh 7. Back with the Spread halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching NFL playoff football on CBS.
Round 3.
And let's come in here and live in this territory and dominate.
Ravens. Steelers. Who's your rival?
As we get you set for the start of the third quarter here at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, Ravens leading the Steelers 21-7. Greg Gumbel along with Dan Deerdorf. The winner here lives to fight another day in the AFC Championship game next Sunday. The first thing and the only thing that really stands out in this game, Dan, that was not typical Pittsburgh Steelers football that we saw in the first half.
No, plus 17 during the regular season. They were known for really taking care of the football. They turned it over twice. Now, you know, you got to give the Ravens a lot of credit. They're playing with great passion, great intensity. They're making some of these things happen. Suggs had a monster first half, but still, this is not Steelers football by any stretch of the imagination.
If you take a look at the number of problems that Mike Tomlin's team had in the first half, it's no wonder that they could be down more.
Well, really, and again, they're down 2 in the turnover department. Ben Roethlisberger has been beat up, thrown to the ground, 3 sacks. He's been hit hard a couple other times. They missed a makeable field goal. It was hooked to the left, and just again, it's after they looked so good. They were out in front 7-0. They looked like they were in command. The home crowd was going crazy, and wow.
Now, the home crowd has not been in evidence here simply because they've fallen behind. They do have a chance to get them back on their side because they get the football first here in the second half.
Yeah, they do. They're going to get a chance to start with it, and we'll see what kind of I don't know, passion, energy, adjustments came out of halftime, and we'll see if the Steelers can have it translate into some action on the field.
Antonio Brown is deep for the Steelers and will return the second half kickoff. 21-7, Baltimore in the lead. From the 5, it's Brown. 25. Still on his feet and now buried at about the 24-yard line. Forward progress will be marked at about the 25. And here comes Ben Roethlisberger.
Well, it has been quite a first half for Big Ben. He has really taken hits high, taken hits low right there from Suggs, right below the waist. That time the fumble, Suggs gets a sack. Ray Lewis comes in, then Nada and company finishes him off. And again, Suggs. Terrell Suggs has had just a giant first half, but if there's been a recurring theme, it has been at the expense of Ben Roethlisberger, who's been beat up.
First down from the 25-yard line, and they will start with a play action. Roethlisberger flips to Hines Ward. Ward tripped up and goes down at the 30-yard line. DeJuan Landry coming up, and boy, these Baltimore Ravens may well be serving notice to the rest of the league. 7 takeaways now in the first 2 games of this playoffs.
Well, you know, John Harbaugh and his team, when we talk to them, very confident, as you'd expect them to be. 13-4 coming into this game. They're used to winning, and they're very good on the road. And Hines Ward finally gets involved, and you can see what that means historically.
Roethlisberger pulls it down once, and then hits his tight end Heath Miller over the middle for a first down across the 35 to the 37.
Well, Ray Lewis ends up making the hit on Heath Miller. He's tracking him. He's got him all the way. You can see he's locked up on him. He gets a little help over the top from Jamel McClain, but Ray Lewis at 35 years old, still productive, and his leadership skills might be better than ever.
On first down, they give this to Mendenhall, and Mendenhall maybe a yard. You know, it was interesting. He echoed the feeling that so many of these players on both sides told us, Dan, that it's a plus when you've seen a team twice during the regular season and you meet them again in the playoffs.
Well, and especially if you're the Ravens and have to work it on a short week. They had one less practice day. They had to play last week. They didn't have the luxury of sitting at home like the Steelers did. And it is very much a big bonus to play a team you know as well as the Ravens know the Steelers.
On 2nd and 9, quick pass to this side, and Wallace doesn't get a chance to go anywhere. Chris Carr in on him in a hurry.
Well, Chris Carr is going, well, if I've got to deal with Mike Wallace, this is exactly the way I want it. Standing still. Mike Wallace unable to use that great speed. Flat-footed, waiting for the ball to get there, and Chris Carr just all over it. That's what you want from a speed guy, right in your crosshairs.
He lost 3, 3rd and 12. Roethlisberger under pressure and goes down.
Boy, everybody's coming in and taking a shot. Haruki Nakamura that time off the edge.
That is the 4th sack of the night.
And Greg Madison, the defensive coordinator, boy, is he calling a game. There's Nakamura. He loops to the outside. Ray Lewis comes in and occupies the blocker. He ties up Moelde Moore, and that frees up Nakamura.
Kapanos kicks it away to Webb. Webb will let it bounce and then field it and goes down at the 21-yard line. 11:37 to play. 3rd quarter. Baltimore with the ball with a 2-touchdown lead.
On the previous play, during the kick, the ball was illegally touched by the kickers. So the ball was moved to the illegal touch spot. First down.
So the difference is about 1.5 yards, maybe 2 yards. Meanwhile, John Harbaugh's team, they've been called Road Warriors. That's why. First down, Ravens, their own 22, Flacco to throw. Running out of time and goes down. Lost about 5 on the play. James Harrison making his presence felt inside.
And Ziggy Hood in there as well. We talked about Ziggy Hood there in the first half. There's Harrison working on the outside. And the first guy who really forced Joe Flacco out of there was Brett Kiesel. Kiesel with a bull rush, and he ends up making Flacco move, and then everybody else got in there to help clean up. That pocket just disintegrated on Flacco.
Second and 15. This is Rice.
Ziggy Hood again was a guy that made that initial stop, and then Timmons came in and cleaned up. Cam Cameron is trying to find, he's got a 14-point lead, so he's not going to get overly aggressive, and especially I think in a situation like this.
30 offensive plays for the Ravens, 10 rushes, 20 passes. Flacco, short pass for Rice. Lost the ball. And Pittsburgh has it.
Well, Joe Flacco did his job. Conservative, dumping the ball down to Ray Rice, and what a gaffe on the part of Ray Rice, not securing that ball any better than he did.
Ray Rice just doesn't fumble.
Clark looked like he was the guy in there on him. Ryan Clark, and it looks like the ball just squirts right out of there and hops to Lamar Woodley. Well, he gets his left hand on it. But did you see how Rice had the ball away from his body? Tuck that baby in high and tight.
404 touches this season without a fumble.
Oh, you can't get that ball away from your body like that.
Mendenhall, running room, 15, inside the 10. He'll be called down at the 9-yard line.
Well, that is some effort by Rashard Mendenhall. And right now, you can just feel the energy from the crowd and the Steelers, realizing they've got a chance to get back into this thing.
And that's a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Yeah, no question his knee touchdown as he was on his way up.
First and goal in the 9.
Great block by Heath Miller.
Ray Rice looking on from the sideline after a rare fumble. First and goal.
It was sloppy ball handling.
Roethlisberger, lofty, touchdown. Heath Miller.
Heath Miller and a Steeler touchdown. Roethlisberger, the Miller from 9, third and 10.
Again, take a look at this. Beautiful pass protection, a great pocket. An inside pattern, then Miller going to the outside. Hines Ward goes to the inside, Miller to the outside. Pretty wide open.
Sweezum's kick is good. 9:11 to play in the third. Pittsburgh jumps right back into the thick of it, converting the turnover with a Ben Roethlisberger touchdown. 21-14 Ravens. A caffeine injection. 9:11 to play in the third.
They had it all wrapped up in a nice little package with a bow on it, handed to them by Ray Rice. Some turnovers are more needed than others. By the Steelers, that was desperately needed.
That's Jason Parmalee. He is deep for the Ravens at his own goal line for the kick. Parmalee from the 7. and tripped up and down at about the 25-yard line. Ike Taylor with the tackle, 1 touchdown game. We'll be back. Rare opened the door for a Roethlisberger touchdown pass, and the towels are flying here in Pittsburgh.
Well, there was a 2-minute video celebration of the Steelers defense making big plays. This place is nuts.
And by the way, Rice begins this series on the sideline, as you saw. McGahee in the backfield. Flacco to throw. Running out of time, and he goes down. James Harrison.
Ten and a half sacks in the regular season. There's Harrison coming upfield, and that is a real mismatch. If you're asking Willis McGahee to be the guy that's supposed to stick Harrison in the chest and stop him, it will never happen.
What did James Harrison tell us yesterday? He feels a lot better this time of the year than he usually does. That can't be good news for Baltimore. McGahee stopped at the 21. Harrison and Timmons combining for that one.
I'm telling you, what a change. Not just in the players on the field for the Steelers, but in the entire atmosphere here at Heinz. That turnover by Ray Rice, what a 180 by the Steelers.
3rd and 15. Flacco underthrows to the far side of the field. Hushmanzada. And a few extracurriculars between Lamar Woodley and Marshall Yanda.
And Hushmanzada was open. Just a straight 4-man rush, but Harrison coming around the corner kept Flacco from being able to turn to his left and throw. And then at the end, you see that's Marshall Yanda, I believe, and Lamar Woodley.
Antonio Brown back for the kick. Sam Cook boomed a 61-yarder earlier, backs him up to his own 22. 30. And down at the sideline at about the 33-yard line. 7:25 to play in the third. Pittsburgh down a touchdown. Back one off. From the time we went to commercial to the time we came back, this crowd has been on its feet. And stays there. Flozell Adams on the Pittsburgh sideline with an illness, we are told. Trey Essex has replaced him. At right tackle, Roethlisberger throw to the near side. Emmanuel Sanders. Sanders breaking free and out to midfield for a first down.
Well, we've got more pushing and shoving now. Back it down by the 30. Ed Reed's in the middle of this. And guess who? Yeah. Hines Ward. Come on, guys. Boy, there's a lot of testosterone between those two guys. Two guys that are as tough and as hard-nosed as any two that have ever played in the NFL.
First down, Steelers at midfield. And Roethlisberger just keeps it for about 2 or 3 yards.
Well, it's been an interesting third quarter for the Pittsburgh Steelers. James Harrison gets in there. He gets a sack on Flacco. And then this huge turnover as Ray Rice fumbles the ball after being hit by Ryan Clark. And then comes back a relatively easy touchdown pass to Heath Miller. And game on.
Roethlisberger on 2nd and 8. Throws it, and that's complete. Emmanuel Sanders with the catch inside the 40 and another first down.
Well, you know, this is a Pittsburgh offense that lost Santonio Holmes, and they've got their young receivers doing a nice job stepping up. But here's Hines Ward. You think look at him go after Ed Reed. Ed Reed puts out, hey, that's nothing wrong with that. He's blocking downfield.
Roethlisberger with time, gonna go deep. Oh, what a defensive play made downfield on Sanders by number 37, Josh Wilson.
Well, I was talking about these young receivers for the Steelers, Sanders and Antonio Brown. And as you can see in a playoff scenario situation, Ben's not afraid to go after him. And that, give credit where credit is due. Outstanding work there, getting the left hand on the ball by Josh Wilson.
On 2nd and 10, end around. Not going to work. Mike Wallace wrapped up by Ellerby.
Man, Donnell Ellerby, he honored his responsibilities. He's supposed to get upfield. Don't pursue the football until you are in a position where nothing can get around you. And that, boy, that's, it's just doing your job. Sounds simple. It's so easy, though, to go chase something and then have somebody get outside you.
Loss of 6 makes it 3rd and 16. And a little movement up front. False start against the Steelers.
False start. 79 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Trey Essex is in there playing right tackle because Flozell Adams is over on the sideline, and we're being told that he's got some sort of an illness that is keeping him from playing. And that would be the 3rd right tackle for the Steelers this year. Before training camp even started, they lost Willie Colon, their normal starter, with an Achilles. They signed Flozell. He's played all year. Now Essex is having to pick up the slack.
Tackle has been a sore point for Mike Tomlin and the Steelers. On 3rd and 21, Roethlisberger. Gonna go deep. Incomplete. 2 receivers down there. And DeJuan Landry appeared to be the one to bat the ball away.
Well, it's not every day that you'll see 2 guys that are this close together. Antoine Randall turns upfield. James Sanders to the inside.
Capanos puts this one up high. And they're going to let it bounce and down it inside the 5. And we have a penalty marker on the far side of the field.
Baltimore might have had too many men. It's hard. Having a conference out here trying to figure out what. It looked like Baltimore was trying to run some people off the field. A busy night for Jeff Triplett.
Ineligible member of the kicking team downfield on the punt. 12 men on the field. Defense. This penalty's offset by rule. Repeat 4th down.
Well, no doubt that Baltimore had too many people on the field, and boy, that really cost the Steelers by somebody leaving early before the ball was kicked, because they had really pinned Baltimore inside the 5-yard line all the way down to the 2.
So Capanos will try to do it again. Once again, Webb deep inside of his own 10. This one go, and this one bounces in the end zone, and we have another penalty marker down, and a little more pushing and shoving. but the penalty marker is back upfield at about the 43-yard line.
During the kick, holding, return team, number 51. Half the distance to the goal from the 20-yard line, first down.
Brendan Ayanbadejo guilty of the penalty. That'll back the Ravens up to get started on this drive. Turnovers, whoever wins this game, turnovers will be the story of this day.
Joe Flacco off the play action, trying to get it to Todd Heap, who's bracketed short, bracketed deep, and on an overthrow it sails right to Ryan Clark. But that was double coverage, not Joe's best decision to try to get it to Heap.
Roethlisberger from the 25. Little screen from Mendenhall. 20, 15, and brought down at about the 12-yard line. It'll be a first down for the Steelers.
Nice block out front of this screen by Marquise Pouncey. The rookie, the all-rookie center for the Steelers. Well, first Ray Rice and then Joe Flacco. 2 turnovers in their own territory. Take a look at that guy right there. He is special. 53. The guy snapping the ball.
Roethlisberger pulls it down and is pulled down from behind at the 10-yard line.
Brought down at the 10.
Making the play, Terrell Suggs.
By Suggs.
What did Ray Lewis say?
Second down at 10.
Ben sometimes plays schoolyard football. He will run around until he finds somebody open.
He will do that, but you know, you'd think that little quarterback clock that goes off in a quarterback's brain would know Suggs has got to be closing from somewhere, because he is. On every snap, he is closing.
Pittsburgh has made red zone trips count tonight.
Here's Suggs at the bottom, lined up on Jonathan Scott.
Little flip inside the 10 to the 8-yard line is Heath Miller. And Chris Carr making the stop.
You know, Chris Carr is playing a really good football game today. You know, he was a question mark as to whether or not he was even going to be able to go. He's got a hamstring that was really limited his practice, and John Harbaugh told us, man, I sure hope he can go, because he knows the routes the Steelers run better than anybody we have except Ed Reed, and we need him out there. Well, he's not only played, but he's played really well.
An anxious Joe Flacco looking on from the Baltimore sideline. And we get a timeout called by Roethlisberger as time was winding down on the play clock. So Pittsburgh uses its first timeout here in the second half. And what we saw, at least in the initial lineup, was that Pittsburgh and Roethlisberger are going to spread the field with 5 receivers.
Well, now you got to wonder, though, that they've already shown that to the Ravens, that they won't try to maybe change formations and do something different. You don't want to give your opponent 120 seconds to realize what it is you're going to do. So this is a little chess game right now going on between Bruce Arians, the Steelers offensive coordinator, and Greg Madison, the DC for the Ravens. But turnovers have been the story here in the second half, just like they were in the first half.
How about Anquan Bolden? 1 catch for -2 yards on the day. As Roethlisberger spreads the field. 3rd and 6. They can get a first down without a touchdown.
And Hines Ward only has 1 catch as well. A couple big names.
Roethlisberger over the middle of the goal line. Touchdown, Hines Ward.
Yep. He now has 2. Imagine Ben Roethlisberger in the middle of the field in traffic trying to go to Hines Ward.
Boy, he threw a bullet, too.
Yes, he did. Well, he had him in the slot working at just a short little pattern right at the goal line. Well done.
What a turnaround in the second half. In the first half, it was Pittsburgh mistakes and Baltimore capitalizing, and the exact opposite has happened here in the second half.
Well, another touchdown scored off a turnover, and this was an interception by Ryan Clark. You see the bracket coverage there on Todd Heap. An overthrow by Flacco, and Heap isn't able to even hit Clark as he sails by. And look at this, Ben. Look how long he's got to set, and a laser into Hines Ward. And what a what a strange game this has been for the Steelers. Up by 7. They then see the Ravens score 21 straight, and now they score a couple of touchdowns and knot this thing up.
And the last thing the Baltimore Ravens wanted to do was get the Pittsburgh Steelers feeling good about themselves here at home.
And there are a lot of emotional leaders on this Pittsburgh team. James Harrison comes to mind, but no one sits in that position higher than number 86.
Jalen Parmalee is deep. From the 6. And hit just as he crossed the 20-yard line by Larry Foote.
Well, there's still a minute and 15 left here in the third quarter, but we've had a lot of action going on to this point. This is Ray Rice, the first Baltimore turnover, and right away Roethlisberger throws a touchdown pass to Heath Miller. Then the interception thrown by Joe Flacco to Ryan Clark. And then another passing touchdown, Roethlisberger to Hines Ward. And what an emotional swing for these two teams.
Ray Rice back into the backfield.
Baltimore does not have 100 yards of offense yet.
They are still -4 this quarter. And Flacco just has to throw the ball into the ground. No one was breaking open.
And we have played nearly 3/4 of football, and the Baltimore Ravens have 94 total yards of offense. That is woeful. Yeah, take a look at that. Some productive quarter.
Lost the football. William Gay says the Steelers have it.
Well, this place might come apart if those arms point towards it. There it goes. I'm not sure if Joe Flacco was ready for the snap. A veteran center in Matt Burke. But Joe didn't have his hands. He didn't have his hands in position to receive the snap. And there you see Burke and Flacco talking. No, I'm sorry, that's Matt Burke right there. But it didn't appear to me that Joe Flacco had his hands under center in preparation of receiving the snap. What a meltdown here by the Ravens.
And at the break, we said the Steelers were not playing Steeler football. They sure are now. This is Mendenhall inside the 20 to the 18. Let's go back to the snap by Matt Burke.
Well, again, there's Joe's hands, but I can't tell from that angle. I don't know if Joe has both of them there or how. I can't tell 100% what happened. At first glance, I didn't think he had his hands in there at all. Now, when I looked at it that time, it looked like they were partially there.
2nd and 6. Mendenhall stuffed back at the 25-yard line. DeJuan Landry up from his safety position. And we have a player down, and that is Jonathan Scott, the left tackle.
Oh, well, this is reaching a crisis mode now for the Steelers at the offensive tackle position. Flozell Adams is already out, replaced by Essex.
Flozell Adams and Jonathan Scott were subs for the original starters at the beginning of this season.
And that is Doug Legursky, the only offensive lineman they've got left. Well, Flacco and Burke are talking about something over there, about that snap.
Looks like he's got two hands down there, but Burke hits himself in the back of the left thigh. Jonathan Scott still struggling down on the field.
This is really serious now for the Steelers in terms of the health of their offensive line.
Scott is number 72.
There he is on the lower left of your screen. Oh, and he gets hit by Haloti Ngata right in the head. Ngata's on his way to make the tackle, and it looks like his shoulder pads and his upper arm collide with the side of Scott's head. And that arm, by the way, on Haloti Ngata is bigger than most people's legs.
So Scott is going to walk off. There are a couple of other linemen on the active roster, but they didn't dress tonight for this game. Chris Scott, the rookie out of Tennessee, and Tony Hill, the third-year lineman out of Texas. And they are going to let the clock wind down here in the third quarter, it would appear. Well, the Steelers have started. Yep, they're going to wind the clock here, and they're going to let the third quarter expire. So as we change ends, we come to the end of 3. And the Steelers and the Ravens are tied at 21. Back after this message and a word from your local station. This is the NFL on CBS.
The crime he couldn't solve.
Along with the best crew in the business. Headed up by our producer, Mark Wolf, our director, Bob Fishman, Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf back at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh as we start the fourth quarter. Flozell Adams took a couple of steps onto the field a few moments ago, and then Mike Tomlin walked out and brought him back. We told you earlier that Flozell left the game with an illness.
That's the extent to which the Steelers are saying anything about what's wrong with Flozell, but certainly something is wrong with him to the point where he tried to go in, and then Mike Tomlin brought him back out. But we are down to crisis mode for offensive linemen for Pittsburgh.
3rd and 11. Doug Legursky in at right tackle for the Steelers. Quick pass to the sideline. Complete to Antonio Brown, and Brown comes up just short of first down yardage.
Yeah, the adjustment the Steelers made there when they brought in Legursky. Trey Essex, who was playing right tackle in place of Flozell, moved over to the critical left tackle spot.
And on 4th and 1, they're lining up for it.
And now Legursky. Looks like Ramon Foster is out at right tackle.
And we get a penalty or a challenge flag thrown by John Harbaugh on the far side of the field. I think John Harbaugh thought that they had ruled
There
it
is
first
no
down.
challenge on the play, as the ruling is a 4th down.
Coach Harbaugh didn't think it was a first down either. So let's see what the Steelers do. So they're going to line up in a hurry right here. Roethlisberger wanted to snap the ball last time in a hurry.
The officiating crew got in there and covered up the ball.
So now they will wind the clock. No one jumps. Roethlisberger not getting anyone to jump. Still not getting one to jump, and now he's going to try to sneak.
And he gets it.
You bet. With about second or third or fourth effort.
Well, that was pretty crafty by the Steelers. Because after those two initial fakes, you're thinking, well, this is nothing more than a ploy to draw them off sides, and we'll go ahead and kick the field goal. That was pretty darn smart and crafty and risky. Nobody ever said Mike Tomlin isn't a head coach who's going to take chances. And this is just being a big, strong guy who keeps digging. And that's what Roethlisberger did. His offensive line kept fighting.
8 first downs for Pittsburgh in this half to none for Baltimore. Roethlisberger, end zone incomplete. Hines Ward, the intended receiver, covered by Josh Wilson.
Well, this is another heater thrown by Ben. That ball has got some velocity on it, and you can see Ed Reed being underneath forced Ben to throw that thing high. Give Ed Reed credit for an assist on that incompletion.
3 trips to the red zone tonight for the Steelers, 3 touchdowns. Wallace with a blocker. Tripped up at the 9 and is called down at the 8.
Oh, and I think Mike Wallace would like another try at that. I think he'd like another go with that same scenario, the same defense and the same blockers out front. He's got Hines Ward out here making a block in front of him, Heath Miller, and he doesn't let Miller set up his block. Josh Wilson comes up and makes a heck of a play, but that was Wallace being a little too impatient. He needed to give Heath Miller a chance to get in position and then break off that block.
3rd and 6. 6 for a first down, 8 for a touchdown. Roethlisberger wrapped up and down at the 17. Terrell Suggs.
Well, there are guys playing big games, and then there's Terrell Suggs. What a monster effort he's putting forth here for Baltimore. Here he is, 55. Now he's working against Trey Essex, the fill-in at left tackle. And this is a real issue. We talked about it for the Steelers now being out of linemen.
Sweezum missed from 43 yards. This one will be from 35 yards out for the lead.
At the tough end, the south end.
For the first time since they led early at 7-0, the Steelers grab the lead, 24-21. That is hardly a good omen. Baltimore today with just 94 total yards. And you just don't do that in the postseason and win football games.
Well, and you can't spin off a third quarter like they did. One of the worst in a long time.
Ladarius Webb, a couple of yards deep in his own end zone. Down at the 19-yard line, courtesy of Will Allen. While we have a moment, Wednesday, America's most exciting new dance show is in full swing. Who will live to dance again? Find out live on a new Live to Dance Wednesday, only CBS. You live to dance, do you not, Dan?
My goal in dancing is to just not fall down.
Hardly a banner day so far for Joe Flacco.
Well, they have more turnovers in the second half than they do first downs.
Ray Rice to about the 23. 12 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Winner moves on to the AFC Championship game against either New England or the Jets, whoever comes up the winner here on CBS tomorrow.
Well, this is still just a 3-point game for the Ravens. They just have to do anything here offensively. Get a couple first downs. Anything to restore some confidence in this offensive unit that's got to be reeling right now.
Play fake to Rice. Flacco over the middle. And Rice is brought down about a yard shy of a first down.
Boy, did Ray cover that up after he caught it. Looks like Terrell Suggs is trying to walk something off over there on the sidelines. That football's, it's in there tight now. And again, you hate to see Rice with that fumble after going over 400 snaps without one. But he just let that ball get way away from his body.
3rd and 1. Rice got the first down off the right side.
You know, you don't want to overstate the importance of a first down, but that was monstrous for Baltimore. It really was.
Sure.
I mean, considering their last possession, they couldn't even execute the snap between the center and the quarterback.
How about their first one of this half?
Yes. So now they only have 2 more turnovers this half than first downs.
Speaking of monstrous, that's what Terrell Suggs has been today.
Oh.
First down, Ravens, their own 30. Rice for a couple. And you know this isn't going to last long because, as we mentioned earlier, John Harbaugh conceded. You just can't come out and run the football against the Pittsburgh Steelers with any success.
No, you can't. No one has done it consistently. A little less than 63 yards average per game for Dick LeBeau's group. By far and away the best in the NFL this year in the regular season. Troy Polamalu has been playing really deep for the Steelers most of this night. He's 20 yards off the ball.
On 2nd and 8 over the middle. That is complete for a first down to the 45-yard line. Pushman Zada.
Well, let's take a look at this from the end zone. On the right is James Harrison working against Michael Orr. But that was another good conversion. Michael Orr so quick off the ball. And he gets a little help from Ben Grubbs, but they keep going at it well after the pass was completed downfield.
There's Polamalu dropping deep on first down.
He's about 18 yards off the ball.
Rice is wrapped up by Brett Kiesel.
Brett Kiesel has just turned in a really solid season for the Steelers at defensive end. And we talked earlier about Aaron Smith being out. He has really had to hold it down on the other side. And I think he just got named as an alternate to the Pro Bowl and is going to make the trip unless, of course, the Steelers are in the Super Bowl.
Lost a yard, 2nd and 11. Flacco with time, throws this side of the field and batted away.
Mike Taylor.
Intended for Derek Mason. That ball was in the air for a while.
Well, and it gave Taylor a lot of time to close on it. Flacco trying to throw this deep out, and Ike Taylor, who was inside, had a lot of time to break on it. And he had a hold of a string or something that was coming loose from the Baltimore receiver. I'm not sure what that was he had in his hand.
3rd and 11. Flacco escapes once on the run and runs it out of bounds.
And James Harrison again involved in the pursuit of Joe Flacco. Harrison, Michael Orr, number 74. That time Harrison gets the corner, and Joe Flacco did a great job not having that ball stripped. But look at Harrison still going after him. That is all James Harrison. Look how he tomahawks for that football. And Joe Flacco just by, I think, some pocket awareness, but a good stroke of luck. Didn't have the ball out there where Harrison could hit it.
And James Harrison, a little out of breath.
Well, he's got to be exhausted, and he hit the ground hard. When he was trying to grab Flacco by the ankles, he extended himself, and man, you could just see him bounce off the turf.
You know, we asked Michael Orr about playing Harrison, and he says you got to play him hard and strong at all times. And we kind of looked at each other and went, no kidding.
Well, you know, Harrison is such a problem for these big tackles. He's listed at 6 feet. Greg, 5'11" would be my guess. So he's always going to have the leverage. And the old, you know, adage about football, low man wins. Let's look at the end of this play. There's Harrison. Watch him extend. And he hits the ground. He just hits it kind of hard. He had his one arm out there, kind of his left arm kind of broke his fall. He looks,
here's his day so far.
He looks like we may see him again.
Antoine Randall L is deep for the punt from Cook. Another good kick from Cook. Back to the 6-yard line. Randall L escapes one tackle. Turns the corner and gets a block and is out of bounds at about the 11 or 12-yard line. 58-yard punt by Sam Cook. We'll be back. Well, for a little bit of a change, the Baltimore defense doesn't start with their backs up against their own end zone. Turnovers have really put them in a pickle here in the second half. But now Pittsburgh starts from its own 12. 7.5 to play in regulation. Look at Ed Reed on that play.
Mendenhall.
Hey, relive every game of the 2010 NFL season, including the playoffs, online and in HD with NFL Game Rewind. Sign up today at NFL.com/Game Rewind or search NFL Game Rewind.
Greg, good news for Pittsburgh. Jonathan Scott is back in there at left tackle. And that is a real plus for the Steelers on their offensive line, especially if they'd like to run the football a little bit here to try to eat up some clock.
On 2nd and 7, this is Mendenhall. And that'll eat up some clock, but it doesn't eat up any yardage. 6:50 to play.
Well, now you almost certainly have to put the ball in Big Ben's hands and see if he can create something. A fragile lead, and you're inside your own 20-yard line.
Baltimore led this game at halftime, 21-7. Isaac Redmond in the backfield with Roethlisberger on 3rd and 7. Roethlisberger throws and underthrew his intended receiver, Emmanuel Sanders.
Well, that is exactly what the Ravens were looking for. That veteran defense of theirs came up with a 3-and-out.
4th down.
And that ball one hops, but again, credit that good underneath coverage by Ray Lewis.
You know, we talked about these Ravens being road warriors. Ray Lewis says he likes playing on the road because the defense communicates a lot better. It's a little quieter.
Well, that was exactly what they needed. You saw somebody from Baltimore move, but then a flinch on the other side by Pittsburgh. If that Baltimore guy was in the neutral zone, it'd be on them. If not, it'll be a false start on Pittsburgh.
False start. 57 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
That'll be a 5-yard flinch.
Well, right now, if you're the Ravens, you've got reason for optimism. You've got a chance of getting the ball on the Pittsburgh side of the 50 if you get any sort of a decent return at all by Webb.
Not the greatest kick. Webb. 40. 30. Ladarius Webb down the sideline to the end zone for the touchdown. touchdown.
There's a flag. They're going to call holding back around the 18 or 19-yard line. This almost certainly is going to come back. Marcus Smith.
Jeff Triplett.
During the return, holding, return team number 11. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Marcus Smith, the third-year wide receiver out of New Mexico.
Oh, boy. Let's look on the right side of the screen right here. There's Smith working against his Ed McFadden. You can see he pulls him to the ground. No, actually, that was Will Allen, number 26, right here.
And that nullifies a 55-yard punt return.
What we couldn't see was his left hand, but you see the official in the background there throwing the flag.
So instead, it's the Ravens at the Pittsburgh 29.
Still a lot of football game to be played here. Nearly 6 minutes left.
Deep drop for Flacco with time. Throws inside the 10. Complete and out of bounds at the 7-yard line to Todd Heap. Terrific protection for Flacco, who delivered.
Oh, you're right about that, Mr. Gumbel. He had a ton of time because this pattern takes time. When you get a tight end running a crossing pattern and covering that much yardage, and by the time Polamalu gets there, it's too late. A perfectly thrown ball by Joe Flacco.
First and goal at the Steeler 8 for Baltimore. McGahee to about the 6. Offensively, it's been a horrible second half for the Baltimore Ravens. A fumble, a punt, an interception, a fumble, and a punt.
Well, every yard on this field has been contested by both of these teams' defenses. The Steelers barely have over 200 yards offense. They got 202. The Ravens have only 135. Boy, I mean, this is a, every inch on this field has been fought over.
Second and goal.
Ray Rice in there.
Ray Rice with the football. Going nowhere. Right in the middle of that defense, Brett Kiesel and Casey Hampton.
Well, Ray Lewis sitting there thinking we did our part. We got a 3 and out. Then we got a nice return. There's nothing in there at all. James Ferrier really stacked that up.
.410 to play. Flacco, quick pass, incomplete at the goal line. Anquan Bolden was the intended receiver.
Coverage by Ferrier and Clark.
Well, Anquan Bolden has really been removed from this football game. He's such a powerful guy, and there's no excuse for not catching that thing. Again, Flacco delivers a touchdown throw to Anquan Bolden, who just flat drops the ball.
Pro Bowl kicker Billy Cundiff to tie the game from 24 yards.
Take it good.
24-24, Ravens and Steelers. Anquan Bolden dropped a sure touchdown pass at the goal line. The Ravens had to settle for a game-tying field goal. 3:54 to play in regulation. We're tied at 24.
They actually, and then the touchdown on the punt return as well. They left 2 touchdowns on the table.
This one bounces, picked up at the 20-yard line by the Steelers. This is David Johnson, and Johnson returns to the 35-yard line. Good field position for Roethlisberger and the Steelers when we come back to Heinz Field. On the injured Steeler being helped off the field and to the bench, and he can't put any weight at all on that left leg. So they will look at him. Meanwhile, the Steelers will have a first down at their own 35. Baltimore has 3 timeouts remaining here in regulation. Pittsburgh has 2. Roethlisberger shakes the tackle, throws to the sideline, incomplete. Strong as a bull. Baltimore, Pittsburgh trying to determine a trip to the AFC Championship game. They'll do the same thing in Foxborough tomorrow. The NFL on CBS puts on AFC Divisional playoff action. Mark Sanchez and the Jets against Tom Brady and the Patriots, and the excitement begins with a special playoff edition of the NFL Today.
America's just not talking about that game, though. I haven't seen 2 teams go at it like that in the press in a long, long time. That ought to be something else.
Since Baltimore and Pittsburgh, 2nd and 10. Roethlisberger with all kinds of time, throws, incomplete. Mike Wallace, the intended receiver, Ladarius Webb with the coverage.
Really good coverage. And Ben Roethlisberger ended up on the ground. A little fake play action there. Corey Redding comes in and stamps him pretty good and drives him into the ground.
The Ravens wanted some penalty against the offense on this play. 3rd and 10.
Boy, and a real adjustment there by the Ravens. So Ed Reed was all the way up on the line of scrimmage. Now he's going all the way back to the deep middle.
4 straight incompletions by Roethlisberger, and he completes that one across the 45 to the 46, and a first down to Hines Ward.
And that's money. You need a completion. How about a slant pattern to Hines Ward? And this is one of those deals that almost regardless of the coverage, if the throw is spot on, if the route is run properly, so hard to defend.
Hines Ward, Pittsburgh's all-time leader in receptions, in yardage, and in receiving touchdowns.
Boy, and that ball was even a little behind Ward, and he was able to hold on to it.
Under 3 minutes to play. Roethlisberger pulls it down twice, and then he goes down at the 37-yard line underneath Corey Redding, number 93.
Well, this again, Ben can't find anywhere to go with the football, and he's got to be careful moving that ball around like that because somebody is going to swat it out of there. And I know what you're all thinking right now. We haven't seen an overtime game yet here in this 2010 postseason with the modification to the rule where if a field goal is kicked by the first team, the other team will get an opportunity to possess the ball and do something with it.
6 sacks of Roethlisberger here tonight. Throwing on the slant, popped up into the air, incomplete. Well, Emmanuel Sanders, the intended receiver.
Well, keep in mind now, Emmanuel Sanders is a rookie, and the pressure situation doesn't get much more than this. He catches the ball, but then he is drilled by Wilson and Reed, and that thing comes out, and he's not able to complete the process of catching that football. I mean, he had it, and if it wasn't for the outstanding defensive hits by those 2 guys, that would have been a Steeler first down.
As it is, they're looking at 3rd and 19.
And the play clock is running down. Ben's trying to figure out what to do.
And he burns a timeout at the 2:07 mark. So they'll get a play in, and then they'll get the 2-minute warning. And a reminder coming up, the Subway post-game show. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Bill Cowher have a recap of the Baltimore-Pittsburgh AFC Divisional playoffs here at Heinz Field, and they'll have all the latest playoff news and information and a special appearance by Subway's own Jared. It's all coming up on the Subway post-game show.
Well, Greg, I'm telling you, if they don't convert this 3rd down, that timeout was a godsend. It was a few extra seconds for the Ravens on the other side. Not to mention if they do convert it, they're down to just one timeout left. But that, you know, you say 7 seconds isn't that much. Well, you never know. It's in a nail biter like this.
Ravens late getting back onto the field as the Steelers come up to the line. 3rd and 19. Welding Moore in the backfield with Roethlisberger. Looks like a 3-man rush for Baltimore.
That's all they're showing.
And that's all it is. Roethlisberger going to go deep. Caught! Antonio Brown out of bounds inside the 5. We have a penalty marker down.
There's a flag back about the 17-yard line. But the official who threw it was waving everybody to come on down. And I don't mean like Bob Barker.
Illegal contact. Defense number 43. That penalty is declined. Result of the place, first down.
The penalty is on Haruki Nakamura. They will decline it. And the Steelers with 1st and goal with 1:58 to play, and we get the 2-minute warning. Pittsburgh in prime position to move on.
That's Antonio Brown circled right there. He's working against Ladarius Webb. But with 8 guys in coverage, the question is, how do you let anybody get on top of you? And that's exactly what the Ravens did. Talk about a defensive gap. And then watch this. Look at Brown. He's got the ball up against his helmet. But that's control. He had control of the football. Yes, by pinning it up against the side of his helmet. But control is control. Little David Tyree action there.
1st and goal at the 4. Roethlisberger going to throw it out here incomplete.
Oh, that really saves Baltimore from having to use a timeout.
Hines Ward, the intended receiver.
That's some aggressive play calling on the part of Bruce Arians. And again, I think because underneath you see DeJuan Landry, number 26. You know, it looked like Ward was more open than he was, but that would have meant an over and down little moonshot by Ben.
2nd and goal.
And Ben Roethlisberger started this game with a clear visor. It's gone.
Mendenhall. Spinning. Penalty marker is down in the middle of the field. And DeJuan Landry comes up pushing and shoving against Ramon Foster.
Holding. Defense number 62. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
That is on Terrence Cody, and that is a killer penalty.
Well, how often do you see a defensive lineman getting called for holding? If one of the center or one of the guards is trying to go up to the 2nd level and attack a linebacker, if that defensive tackle grabs him and keeps him from doing it, and I think that's what he did. I think he grabbed Marquise Pouncey. Let's watch Pouncey trying to make a double team.
Number 64 reports as an eligible receiver. Number 64 is eligible.
All right, take a look right there on the inside. Kimoyatu, yep, he's grabbing Pouncey and won't let Pouncey go. Pouncey was trying to get to a linebacker.
Mendenhall. Stopped at the 1.
Well, you got to call a timeout. John Harbaugh's going, what the heck's going on?
And I think as much as at his own players, Harbaugh couldn't get the attention of an official.
Because he was certainly windmilling a timeout signal.
Please. Thank you.
And I think we're getting a resetting of the clock. They're giving Harbaugh the timeout when he started calling it.
So we'll see how much time goes back on the clock while we have a moment. Once again, the Subway postgame show. JB, Dan Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cowher recapping this game. And we'll have all the latest playoff news and information. And Subway's Jared stops by the studio.
Well, Baltimore still has 2 timeouts, as you see, remaining. And they'll certainly use them as quickly as they can if Pittsburgh doesn't get in, and if Pittsburgh doesn't do something crazy like throwing the football and having an incompletion.
Well, Ben Roethlisberger told us he throws it to Doug Legursky in practice all the time. Second and goal to give straight ahead to Mendenhall.
You know how many people are trying to rip that ball out of Mendenhall's hands in that pile? Talk about all the hours in a weight room and trying to hold on to a football.
What did Roethlisberger tell us? In practice, he always throws it to Legursky, and in game situations, he never does.
No, he said it's. I just try to keep his spirits up.
Baltimore uses its second timeout to stop the clock with 1:37.
Well, right now, if I was the Pittsburgh Steelers, if I had a play that I'd had in the archives somewhere, I sure would hate to just kick a field goal and with this amount of time left give Baltimore a chance. Man, if you had the old magic elixir in there somewhere, it's time to bring it out.
Well, as we've talked about, there are more than just one quarterback on this Pittsburgh team. Hines Ward, quarterback in college. Antoine Randall, quarterback at Indiana.
Well, I can just tell you, with Nada and Kelly Craig, that group in the middle there's not a lot of give to be had in there as far as just hammering away at it.
This season, 8 Pittsburgh red zone trips against Baltimore, 6 touchdowns, 2 field goals. Mendenhall. Touchdown! And a penalty marker flies.
After the touchdown, unnecessary roughness, personal foul, number 68 in the offense. That penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
So that's going to affect the kickoff.
Yeah, sure
that penalty is on Chris Kimoyadu.
Well, I don't know if Mendenhall got in on the second effort, the third effort, or the fourth effort. But what a tremendous piece of work by Rashard Mendenhall. He's got to come to a complete stop there, and then he just powers into the pile, and that is tremendous leg strength. And again, like he did in the first half, you saw Kimoyatu come into the pile late. This time he was flagged. The first time he wasn't.
Sweezum's kick is good. A minute 33 to play. Pittsburgh enjoys its biggest lead with a minute and a half to play.
Again, look at this little jump cut by Mendenhall going back to the inside. And this play is over, and there comes Kimoyatu flying into the pile. That is dumb, dumb, dumb.
Because that will impact the upcoming kickoff.
Well, they're going to have to kick off for back at the 15-yard line.
You just saw his teammates telling him don't worry about it, but you can bet Mike Tomlin's worried about it.
I'll say one thing about this. Look at the number of points that have been scored in this game, 55 points. And there's barely over 350 yards of offense by both teams combined in this game. Points per yard basis, this has been a very productive day for both teams.
Baltimore gives up less than 17 points a game. Pittsburgh gives up less than 15 a game on the average. So much for averages.
Well, again, you got to look at that third and long conversion by Roethlisberger against a complete 8-man coverage against Baltimore. And that's just remarkable that you're able to complete a pass of that distance against that defense that was called.
Each team has one timeout remaining. Sweezum will kick this from his own 15-yard line. Jalen Parmalee is the return man for the Ravens. And here we go. Scooting it along the ground. Picked up at the 40-yard line by LaRon McClain. And he crosses midfield and into Pittsburgh territory. Line of scrimmage will be about the 47 or 48-yard line.
Well, I think that penalty Akeem Oyatu's didn't hurt. That changed everything. Boy, and LaRon McClain, look at him hobbling. He is just not going to put that left foot on the ground at all. You can see he's already taped up. Had an ankle problem earlier in the year and ran. That's not a good sign.
So Flacco and company from the Pittsburgh 43, a minute 27 on the clock.
One timeout.
Flacco with a middle overthrew it. Intended for Todd Heap.
And Dick LeBeau changed it up there. Troy Polamalu, who's been playing very deep this game and not used very much in the blitz, comes this time on a blitz. He's picked up. He's handled. And Heap had no chance. There's Polamalu leaping back to the inside, looping rather. And nice block by Ray Rice. Boy, did he stick his face right in there and handle it.
2nd and 10. Flacco deep down the far sideline. It is incomplete.
Well, Derek Mason did a nice job of breaking that up. He did a really good job because William Gay became the receiver. He's in the best position to make this play. And Ray Rice, I mean, not Ray Rice, but Derek Mason does a nice job of stripping him. Right now, Mason becomes a defender, and he's got to get in there and break it up.
3rd and 10. Flacco under the gun and goes down.
Ziggy.
Along with Lawrence Timmons, the 5th sack of Joe Flacco today.
Again, Lawrence Timmons comes on the blitz. Flacco is moving away from Timmons because he leaps over the attempted block and goes right into Ziggy Hood. Dick LeBeau really calling a smart series here. And what a great athletic play by Lawrence Timmons, jumping over the block of Ray Rice.
And it forces the Ravens to burn their final timeout.
We just saw Ray Rice do a great job of blocking Polamalu when he came on a blitz. But that time he went way too low on Lawrence Timmons, and he just hurled him. The middle of the field can be open here. It has been the last couple of plays. Flacco hasn't been able to get to it. Polamalu now 20 yards deep.
4th and 18. Flacco. Throw. Incomplete.
And Houshmandzadeh had it. That was a very catchable ball. William Gay, the defender there. Oh, how frustrating for T.J. Houshmandzadeh. He's working on William Gay, single coverage. He stops. He's wide open. And the ball, he lets it get in on his body, and it bounces right off his chest.
Missed opportunities by Baltimore receivers tonight.
You're right, we saw Anquan Bolden drop one in the end zone on their previous possession.
And the Ravens cannot stop the clock. Hines Ward.
And Mike Tomlin, that's exactly what this has been, a heavyweight bout. But who expected a shootout, 31-24, not I.
For the second time in 3 years, Pittsburgh on its way to the AFC Championship game, and for the 5th time since 2001.
Well, there's no way to sugarcoat this. This was just a disastrous half of football by the Baltimore Ravens. Just a complete self-destruction. Aided by being pressed by a really good Steeler football team.
The Steelers, last man standing, with time running down at Heinz Field.
And Joe Flacco just can't seem to win a game when Ben Roethlisberger's playing.
Our final score at Heinz Field: Pittsburgh 31, Baltimore 24. For Dan Deerdorf and the rest of our CBS Sports crew in Pittsburgh, Greg Gumbel saying so long. Coming up next, the Subway post-game show. We will take you to New York for all of the scores and highlights after this.